Alrighty then, here we are now spawning into Golden Aura. We're here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom right. We, of course, have our blue Protoss player coming out from the land of Poland. He is going to be representing Storm Gaming PSG. We have Gerald. And over here in the top left-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the top left, we of course have our red Terran player coming out from the land of Japan, also representing Korea, but also representing Team Hyper 1. We have HonMonO. Her most honorable of honorables. Predictions are now live in the chat, dear viewers. So if you'd like to predict who wins this entire series, this entire semifinals, wager a couple of grapes on that. You have about 2 or 3 minutes to do so after this is said. And speaking of having only 2 minutes to do so, I'm going to be very cheeky in this game. That's a 1 Rex proxy, but 2 Rex in total. It'd be very important for Gerald to be able to get in and confirm the total number of production. So far, not quite able to go in. Might be a little bit tipped off by the lack of a CC. But we shall see in the end. Speaking of marinating your Marauders, that's exactly what HonMonO is doing right now, and that's exactly what Gerald scouts. Scouts that tech lab, he scouts that racks, he sees it's producing. It can't be anything other than ghosts. No, it can't be ghosts, literally, at this stage of the game. It can't be anything other than Marauders. So Gerald is going to have to be very careful with how he defends against this. And be forced to pull the boys a couple of times, I do imagine. If possible, try to use the Nexus to tank some shots. Stalker is, well, a single Stalker anyway, definitely is not quite what you want to deal against Marauders, but oh, Chill Battery does go live, and all of a sudden, Geralt has a better chance of holding. A couple of boys do get pulled. HonMonO producing Marines back at home, while producing Marauders on the other side of the map. Battery Overcharge is available, but of course, Geralt wants to save it for when he absolutely needs it, aka right now. And with that, he's going to be able to hold. He's going to be able to kill 2 of these SCVs so far. HonMonO is very committed with this build. There is no more production being made back at home. There is no natural base. All of the boys are being pulled. Almost all the boys are being pulled, and yeah, HonMonO needs to end this now, or he's never going to be able to end it. Boys are being pulled for Gerald as well. A couple of them will go down, but of course Gerald can't afford to lose his workers. He's up a base. He has 2 Nexuses with Chrono Boost. He can afford to lose these workers as long as he doesn't lose his core units. Chill Battery will go down, and this is still a lot of Terran for an early game Protoss to really deal with. Boys are fighting boys. We've got hot boy on boy action as HonMonO tries to get that bunker up and running. Nice little bit of mineral walking. I want to say mineral walking, but I'm not convinced those SCVs didn't just go around the probes and take them out. Gerald is starting to lose a lot of workers. Technically behind, but again, he's up a base, so there's still a chance for him to hold. Not if he starts losing his Stalker still. So it does get made, another Stalker will go down, and this is looking rough for our blue Protoss player. Zealots, really good against Marauders, but with concussive shells, it suddenly becomes possible for Marauders to start kiting against all of this. Marauders starting to get pushed into a corner. Boys are doing their damnedest to try to hold against this. Really nice rounds against the Marines. And it looks like there's another Stalker that does get popped. 1 Marauder remaining here for HonMonO. And it will go down. Technically, a hold. But Gerald also lost 23 probes throughout all of that, 24 in total throughout this game. And so HonMonO, despite pulling all of his boys earlier, despite not getting a natural base, he knows that he can rebuild at this point, even getting a Cyclone. Because why the hell not? He knows that Gerald is broke right now. He knows that Gerald won't be able to afford to produce anything, really. All he needs is cheap units. And eventually he's going to be able to grind all of this down. Even getting his starport behind all of this. Yeah, this was a rough start, to say the least, for Gerald. He is still holding as best he can. He knew exactly how committed HonMonO is to this all-in. Well, I mean, I say all-in, but it's no longer an all-in. Gerald really needs to hope for a miracle with that Adept. Nexus goes down, so yeah, he doesn't even have the base advantage anymore. And with that, HonMonO's going to be taking game number 1. Just like so. This is why we say watch HonMonO at your own risk, because he may be kawaii, but he is also very vicious when he gets into his game. That was a rough start, to say the least, here for Gerald. Unable to really scout what was going on until it was a little bit too late, and yeah, unfortunately just not having an opener that could really deal effectively against this type of build, I suppose. I mean, you can't really blame him. I mean, it's game number 1 in a best-of-3 series. Gerald wanted to open up normal. He wasn't expecting proxy marauders up on his face in game number 1 of all games, but yeah. That was a very good control from HonMonO as well, when it came to kiting with his marauders, when it came to kiting against the probes as well, keeping his own, or making sure that his own SCVs were also tanking most of those shots. So yeah, unfortunate game 1 here for Gerald, but he is very eager to try to make up for that. Immediately, lobby number 2 was ready. He said, "Let's go." And so here we are. Now going to be continuing our series on Hecate. We're here in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right. We have our blue Protoss player coming out from the land of Poland. He is, of course, going to be representing Storm Gaming, PSG. We have Gerald. And over here in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left, here we have our red Terran player coming out from the land of Japan, but also at some point in the past, the land of Korea. He's going to be representing Team Hyper 1. He's going to be representing all the waifus. We have HonMonO. Gerald, not one to be fooled twice in a series, being very, very vigilant with his probe, being very, very diligent to scout what's coming his way. Sees 3 normal things. Is a little bit of an earlier second gas here, but you know, this could always. But there's a number of things that a second gas at this time can mean. It always means factory. But it doesn't necessarily mean aggression. We do see a lot of Terran players in TvP even go for the early second gas, go for the factory expand, just to be safe. As Gerald being as annoying as... Jesus. I'm hoping my mic didn't pick that up. It sounded like that was a clown horn honking somewhere, which is fitting, I would say. But regardless, it is going to be a little bit of a 1-1. No command center just yet, but I mean, come on, this should be a factory expand, right? HonMonO, you're not going to go for another 1 base build, right? Right. there we go. As Gerald going to be anticipating a little bit of a light harassment force coming his way, so going to be opting for more than one adept. Initial adept to scout, second adept to try to take out any Reapers or potentially Hellions that are going to be coming into his base. HonMonO checking for proxies. I'm not sure why HonMonO is this worried about a proxy being thrown this way. Well, that's a bit of a lie. I know exactly why HonMonO is worried about a proxy being thrown his way. He proxied in game number 1. He's expecting to get a bit of a taste of his own medicine in game number 2. Not the case, though. Here, Gerald is not one to stoop to such, what's it called? Not reparations, redemptions, retributions? Retributions? Well, let's go with retributions. At least not today. HonMonO going for a little bit of a heavier scouting force. 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions. This was a little bit more common a couple of months ago. You know, before Cyclone meta really settled down. But yeah, something you still see every so often in TvP. Again, just to do some scouting, just to get a little bit of a sense of what your Protoss opponent is going for. How economic they're playing, how greedy they're playing, or what sort of tech they're going to be going for. So far, Gerald's been doing a really good job of keeping these units away from his base. Going to be able to kill most of them as well. Only a single Hellion going to be making it home, and it's going to be making it home with 0 information whatsoever. We, however, can see that it's going to be a bit of a blink opening here for Gerald, so a very versatile opener here. Doesn't have too many gateways, so I can't imagine. Yeah, doesn't have too many gateways, so Gerald probably isn't going to be aggressive with his blink. Is instead opting for a third base. Is instead going to try to use these stalkers to try to catch harassing units, try to catch potential drops as well. Gerald been very, very good at slipping a couple of adepts into HonMonO's main base consistently throughout this game. Another 3 SCVs go down, and he also gets a full scout of what's going on in this base. Gerald is ahead so many workers for now. He's going to be ahead in 1 base as well. So HonMonO, I mean, his build already got a little bit scouted, which is going to be rough for him, but he needs to tie up the damage somehow. He needs to be able to go across the map and cancel this third base, ideally. So far, it's actually Gerald who goes across the map, being a lot more active with his Blink Stalkers. You love to see it. You also love to see Blink Stalkers being able to pick off 1 tank as they make it across the map. Oh, the second tank over here? Oh, but it's only 1 very boost up Stalker, so yeah, that tank will be able to deal with it. Gerald buying himself a lot of time to prepare his defenses back at home. HonMonO mostly been losing just a handful of SCVs here. I say that as the Liberator goes down, and this attack is a lot weaker and a lot more flaccid, as HonMonO really wanted it to be. We'll be able to take out that pylon, potentially going to be able to take out the Cyber Core, which is pretty big, especially if you're Geralt right now and you're opting for a bit more of a blink-heavy style. Purification Nova will not quite connect. Well, it will connect with the bunker. It's a bunker that's in production. SCV will be able to finish building that, and wow, I'm surprised at how much range that tank actually has from that spot. Anyway, HonMonO saw that handful of Stalkers on his side of the map, so he knows that there can't be much homed right now for Gerald. Could be coming across the map, and oof, that's a juicy connection with that Purification Nova! And so far, only both of them will be going down. That was a very, very costly trade, however, for Gerald. Going to be losing not only his Disruptor, but also his Immortal, and also his and also a bunch of his Stalkers. Colossus now out though, and this should be enough, more than enough really, for Geralt to hold what remains. A couple of expensive units did go down here for Geralt, but he kept all of his workers alive, and he took 0 damage at his bases. Well, he lost his cyber core, so people have to remake that, or he has been forced to remake that, but regardless, very solid hold here for Gerald. He is going to be far, far ahead for quite some time in this game. HonMonO not quite going to be able to follow up on this damage. Going to be forced to... going to be forced to macro. The worst fate for a Hyper 1 Terran player. As HonMonO, yeah, just macroing up, just ramping up his production as much as he can. Definitely appreciate this from HonMonO, playing it safe. He is playing a Ravenless build, which is almost unheard of nowadays in TvP. It will mean that he's going to be able to be a bit more efficient with his resources. You know, he's not getting a 1 super gas-heavy spellcaster, so he can get more damaging units like Marines, Marauders, and tanks and whatnot, but also means that he's not going to have vision, or not going to have detection at his bases, so this missile turret, uber important. Just in case some DTs come in and try to act as the final nail in the coffin. HonMonO being as annoying as possible with these 2 unupgraded Liberators, being very quick to unsiege and re-siege at different locations and bases. Gerald, he was prepared. HonMonO, though, very quick to react. HonMonO will scan, will confirm the army of Gerald. So you notice that right now Gerald is also just a lot more focused on macroing up and making sure that he has a stable economy before transitioning to his late tech. Speaking of which, Archon's already being morphed. I don't believe he's researched Storm just yet. He has not, but yeah, that's definitely going to be an option for him as this game continues. Very important to diversify your AoE damage, your AoE channels as a Protoss player. As Gerald has secured a pretty safe army for the time being, so he's going across the map. These tanks are exposed! And one of them will go down. A little bit of a cheeky drop here from HonMonO. Will get caught by the army on the retreat, but he will also take out a single Colossus. So all in all, a tank and a couple of Marauders for a Colossus, not a bad trade here for HonMonO. What he really needs to worry about, though, is Gerald outsizing him and outscaling him as this game continues. Because, of course, while he traded better in that defense, he also kind of got a bit of his momentum stalled. Again, he was setting up a drop. He wanted to send it across the map to try to slow down the economy of Gerald. But once it was caught, HonMonO now realizes, okay, I need to be safe. I need to take this seriously. He even is starting to see things that aren't there. Thought that there was a observer, but it was not. In fact, you already killed the observer, HonMonO. But he's just getting flashbacks, because, you know, that is what happens to even the best of us in a TvP like this, you know? I don't know, I'm not really sure where I'm going with that. This is our Terran PSA, by the way, for all Terran players who are watching. If you think you see something cloaked, it's best to assume that you saw that it's something cloaked, and not that your eyes are going crazy. I'm gonna really start to tech up. Still very far behind when it comes to the economy, but we are getting to a point where both armies can really go head to head against one another. Gonna depend a lot on these EMPs and how quick HonMonO is to throw them out. As a Warp Prism sneaks into the main base. Sky Terror not quick enough to cancel this warp. And while most of the army does get pulled back into the main, yep, Gerald is going to be trying to get something done here over at the third base. A little bit premature here for HonMonO to try to pull away from his main base and support the main army. But not the biggest of deals. Only one. So it's only one cell in the end. Despite that, though, that Warp-In was able to kill a lot of SCVs. HonMonO down about 30 workers as Gerald takes a 5th and a 6th back-to-back, while HonMonO is still struggling to get a 4th. His army, though, is looking very, very potent. Very important for Gerald right now, and it's something that Gerald has been really good at, is not overextending himself, not jumping into positions where HonMonO really wants him to fight at. Another 13 probes, SCVs, go down in his natural base location. So, yeah, HonMonO really starting to starve when it comes to the income. See Gerald mining about 3 times the minerals right now, and twice the gas. HonMonO, he's had enough. He's going for it. And by going for it, I mean killing a spotter pylon, which is about to get rebuilt. Yeah, HonMonO knows that he can win an army engagement, and if he wins decisively, he will have free reign to go across the map and really get somewhere with a counterattack, but he also knows that he's not going to win decisively if he fights HonMonO in the middle of the map. So, yeah, we're seeing HonMonO, if he tries to fight Gerald in the middle of the map, that's what I meant. So right now we're seeing HonMonO really trying to do whatever he can to try to trade efficiently, try to bait Gerald into him. Still hasn't gotten that 4th base yet, which really is starting to worry me. Producing a couple of, and by a couple I mean 1 CC now. This is a good concave for HonMonO. Good split and really good target firing. On top of those disruptors, HonMonO going to be able to take out every single robo unit very decisively. And this is that win that HonMonO needed to break free. This is that engagement that HonMonO really needed in this game. High Templar will be going down as well. Not much here for Gerald. But with a good enough surround and with good enough purification novas, he might be able to get something done. Good pick off on that tank. That's a lot of Archons. And I'm not sure if HonMonO really has enough to deal with all of them. He has some ghosts. EMPs do go down. Is that going to be enough? There's still 1 storm remaining, but it mostly storms Marauders. HonMonO still has a larger army, but a lot of his army right now, a lot of his supply, is based in medevacs, and medevacs can't fight. HonMonO forced to pick up, go back home. Gerald has held. Oh, and he could take out a 5th base, and he could take out his base too. I reflexively said 5th base because that's, you know, the base count that we're assuming at this stage of the game, but no, that's actually the 4th base of HonMonO. Was the 4th base of HonMonO as it goes down. Pardon me. Just something primal triggered when I saw that 4th base get taken out here. I just wanted to retreat. But Gerald had other plans. You want to retreat? Well, I'll retreat you underground. As Gerald now has completely outscaled HonMonO. He has held long enough, he has mined long enough, he has mined large amounts of minerals and gas enough that now he can really start to take the fight to HonMonO. He doesn't need to be worried too much. He doesn't need to do the stance back and forth of, oh no, but you have all of these tanks. Well, you have 1 tank, and I'm just going to take it out with my Archons. GG's called, and Gerald is going to be tying up our series sideways 1-1. Very nicely done here. GG. Very nicely done here by Gerald. Just completely in control of the... Well, yeah, I would say completely in control in this game. As soon as he was able to get his couple of adepts into the main base of HonMonO, it felt like he immediately knew, this is what I have to do. This is what HonMonO is going to do. He's going to try to go across the map with tanks and with Marines. I need to try to slow them down as much as I can with my Stalkers while I get some Colossus back home, and after that, it was really just a matter of expanding and containing Gerald expanding and also containing HonMonO. Kuro would like me to point out that, as a bit of a fun fact, we had no shows today. Very highly, very mature shows. Very R. So, thank you, all of our players. I think what Kuro wanted me, the direction Kuro wanted me to go in, of having no players forfeit. We all appreciate it. Admins appreciate it. Viewers appreciate it. Casters appreciate it. And it also means that everyone's going to be eligible for the raffle today. Every player is going to be eligible for the raffle today, including our players here spawning on El Quione in the top right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the top right. We, of course, have our blue Protoss player coming out from the land of Poland. He is, of course, going to be representing Storm Gaming, PSG. We have Gerald. And, of course, over here in the bottom left-hand corner map, but also being very cheeky with an SCV in the top. We have our red Terran player coming out from the land of Japan, representing the land of Korea as well. And also his team, Hyper One. We have HonMonO. Here we go. HonMonO realized, you know what my problem was that last game? I didn't proxy. I have a 100% win rate today against Gerald when I proxied, so he's gonna proxy once more. He also had a 0% win rate against Gerald today when he didn't proxy, so that's math. That's math. Once again, going for the Tech Lab. Once again, going for Marauders by the looks of things. Gerald was a lot quicker to scout this game, and he also sees that it's a Marine first, so yeah, he's going straight for that proxy location. He knew 100% that what was coming his way. And now he has a little bit more time compared to game number 1 to be able to prepare a defense against this. He is going to be prioritizing that Robo facility, which is a good choice. Immortals are absolutely fantastic at holding against Marauders. Just want to be careful, just want to make sure that you are able to kite against them. Immortals have slightly longer range than Marauders, so you want to be making use of that whenever you can. As the Marauders do now arrive, Assault here, unfortunately, oh no, very slowly going to be trying to back away from all of this. Concussive shells, man. So funny to see him getting concussive shelled, but still being healed by shield battery. Very quick reaction from Gerald, going to be able to cancel that bunker. Unfortunately, going to be actually not quite losing that Adept. That Adept going to be useful, going to be able to take out an SCV trying to build a bunker once again. HonMonO is starting to consolidate his forces though, and Concussive Shell is tricky. Immortal's about to pop! And that should just about be the end of this proxy, here for HonMonO. Should be, but yeah, there we go. Mortal did take quite a little bit of a beating here. It's unfortunate for HonMonO that a lot of his volleys from his Marauders were actually hitting the Immortal while Guardian Shell was active, so I wasn't quite able to make full use of his own forces. Then Immortal will go down, but Gerald has held. HonMonO is now forced to... macro. I felt a shiver as I said that. Proxy going to be going back home. Gerald now has the freedom to get into his own game, to get his own tech. I say the Proxy's going to go back home, but no, it's going to remain a Proxy. There we go. It looked like it was going to land. For a quick little second, it looked like HonMonO was planning to keep this Proxy going, but knows better of it for now. And so, I didn't think I'd actually be saying this, but it looks like we're going to be seeing a normal game between these two. Very, very normal. HonMonO or Gerald going across the map with that Immortal, just gonna try to get some scouting done, try to see if he can delay any key tech, any building SCVs or what have you. A little bit trickier with only one Immortal compared to two, but hey, there's still a lot of damage that Immortals do. Hellion Scout, Phoenix Scout, Haluk Phoenix Scout. Will not really catch much, but this is a nice little pickoff here for Gerald. Going to be delaying tank production, which is very, very key here. Especially against an aggressive player like HonMonO, who really likes to hit his timings. That barracks still didn't go all the way back home, which is curious. But you know what? It might pay off for HonMonO. He is researching from this Ninja Axe, so there's no way his upgrades could be delayed, right? That's a justification I'm going to be using. Feel free to use that one too, HonMonO. Interesting little quirk from HonMonO, though, is that he really likes to go Ravenless, at least in TvP, which is certainly a choice, to say the least. As Colossus production is now underway, Chargelets as well, going to be coming down. Oh, I said HonMonO likes to go Ravenless, and immediately he starts grabbing a Raven, so I'm on to you, HonMonO. Gerald is trying to be active with his Immortals, trying to get whatever he can get done. Picks up a couple of free units. Doesn't even take any significant shield damage, certainly doesn't take any hull damage either. Still has a scout at this Ninja Axe, so yeah, good job by HonMonO, is what I'll say. Stim is about to finish up, and with Stim, HonMonO scans that third, should be going across the map right about now. Or not. This is interesting. HonMonO just went from making 0 Ravens in a TvP to now really focusing hard on them. Double Raven coming out. Really wants to try to get the disable on this Warp Prism. Will be recalled out of there, however. HonMonO once again scans, confirms that's what the base is at, does another scan, will confirm, yep, that's a Colossus. That's actually 2 Colossus, so yeah, double Raven actually a good choice here for HonMonO. If he decides to push out, there we go. Gotta appreciate the boldness of Gerald here. Throwing out spotters right outside HonMonO's bases. Okay, there we go. I was gonna say I don't like this. Yeah, we go. That's the HonMonO I was waiting for. I was gonna say I don't like this. You know, HonMonO was positioning his army outside his third. I was like, HonMonO? You're not gonna push, buddy? You're not gonna pull the boys? But no. Believe in the HonMonO. He will give you what you want, which in this case is pulling all of the boys into his opponent. Really good feedback stats. Both Ravens actually feedback, so no disables could be available here on those Colossus. Very, very key pick-off here for Gerald. It'd be very, very difficult for HonMonO to try to break into this. But he's got a lot of tanks, so he's gonna try. Marines a little bit in the meat grinder. Purification Nova will get popped. The entire mineral line worth of SCVs will go down. Gateway units go down, but we still have 3 Colossus, 2 Archons, and a Disruptor standing behind all of that. That was a disastrous push for HonMonO. The backbone of Gerald's army still stands, and it's looking to evolve into more than just a bone. Now that backbone is gonna bone. No, wait. That... Now, that's a real no-no show. Now, the army of Gerald is gonna look to counterattack. There's no third. HonMonO was super uber committed to that push working, and it didn't work whatsoever. So yeah, a little bit of a repeat of game number 2 is afoot, but this time even more potent for Gerald. Tank those down, and now there's nothing keeping anything else alive here for HonMonO either. GG is called, and Gerald will be taking the series 2-1, which means that he's going to be advancing to a grand finals, which will be a PvP. Very nicely done. Gerald, you could tell he was a little angry after how game number 1 transpired. Getting a proxy marauder like that. Game number 2, tightened it up. Game number 3, tightened it up even more. Those were solid games coming out from Gerald, to say the least. It didn't really look like he was struggling too much in game 2 and 3. HonMonO, of course, doing being the HonMonO that we know and love, going for a little cheekier things like proxy marauders, going for timings where he pulls all of the boys as well. It's kind of HonMonO that we've come to know and love, but unfortunately, Gerald was very quick to pick up on that and was very quick and very accurate when it came to countering that style.